Hi everyone, good morning. This is Margaret Manning and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is Tuesday, it's September the 20th. Hope that you're doing great this morning. It's a little cloudy here in Switzerland, but I'm hoping for sun. It's one of those beautiful transitional days where the air is very cool, but I think sun is coming later. So I hope that you're having a great morning. I've got my cup of tea this morning. Now, as you know, I have a little Buddha box of tea surprises that was given to me, and I'm trying a different tea every day. Today, I've got grün tea with gluten. This is German, of course, so I don't know what gluten means. So I looked it up and it's blossoms. So I've got green tea with blossoms. I have no idea what blossoms, but it actually tastes very good. So my green tea this morning. So grab a cup of tea or coffee. Let's sit and get caught up on what's going on in the world today, and a couple of stories that I think you'll find interesting at the end. And again, welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. I'm just so glad you're all here. I love the comments that we're getting every day now. You're finding value in what we're talking about, and I think you're getting to know each other too, which is fantastic. So that's what it's all about. Community and conversation. So let's go through the news. In the United States, of course, the big news is around the bombing in New York City over the weekend. A bombing suspect has been arrested. He's in custody, 28-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen, Afghanistan descent. He was arrested yesterday and after a gun battle in New Jersey. So that's good news that situation is under control, or appears to be. I wanted just to make a quick comment here because yesterday we had a few comments on our section below about the situation in the United States and how that's making several people very worried and afraid, afraid to go out, afraid of engaging with the world. And I think President Obama said, some very good things last night on television. He was reassuring people that this cannot change the American way of life, that we cannot give in to fear. And, I talk about the United States as if it's a sort of an island on its own, but it's not. This applies to the whole world. This conversation about terrorism and being afraid to get out into the world for fear something's going to happen, it's perfectly normal. It's a response, I think, partly to the intense media coverage that you get in the United States particularly. But, I think we just have to take a breath and remember that we're 60-year-old women. We had been through some pretty traumatic, frightening times in our life, and we've got through them. Things have found a balance. So just wanted to reassure you on that news story. Now, in Syria, just a quick update, the ceasefire lasted for 7 days, but it has failed. The Russian and United States governments have tried to talk to each other to establish some trust, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. There were violations of the ceasefire, and yesterday, in fact, very, very sad, an aid convoy that was trying to deliver goods, humanitarian aid and medicines to a town outside Aleppo was bombed. I think 18 trucks were destroyed and 12 people were killed. This is, to me, inexcusable. The United Nations has spoken out against it. It was a UN aid convoy. So just, very sad news from Syria. Now, back to New York, though, world leaders are meeting at the UN this week to talk about something else that's very important to the globe, and that's the refugee migrant situation. They've passed an agreement yesterday saying that there should be a more international response to the issue of migrants and refugees. And they've talked about trying to coordinate activities so that the load is shared more equally across every country in the world. So there's a lot of countries that are doing an amazing job. There's some that are giving money instead of taking people in. For example, Japan just committed $2.4 billion to help with the migrant situation globally. And this is to be paid out over 3 years. So everyone's doing what they can with the infrastructure that they have in their own countries. They have to do what's best. So just a quick update on another situation with refugees. In Greece yesterday, on the island of Lesbos, there was a big fire at a migrant camp called Moria. and no idea how it started, but 4,000 people had to be evacuated. So that is not good news at all. But this situation is really quite desperate in many parts of the world. So hopefully those people are safe. Now back to Africa. Challenges there with government shifts and elections. The Democratic Republic of Congo is still fighting to oust their president Kabila, asking him to step down. There were fights yesterday in the Democratic Republic of Congo. 17 people were killed, including police officers. It's just a very volatile situation in Congo right at this moment. And a quick update from Russia. President Putin's United Russia party has won the election that was just held recently. And in Germany, Angela Merkel's party did not do very well against the anti-migrant parties, the right-wing parties that are becoming more emergent in Germany. So those are party elections that are having an impact in Russia and in Germany. So that's the news of the world. Now, a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Every day I think about things that you've asked me to discuss, topics that are on the minds of our community, our age group. And one thing that comes up a lot is of course, our health. Healthy aging is a big priority for 60andMe. And the topic I wanted to talk to today about is keeping your joints healthy, and also the whole issue around arthritis. Now, Dr. Sarah Brewer is one of our bloggers, and she has written an article. I'll include the link to it because it's really a good article. It goes through arthritis and joint issues in really great detail and gives some very specific, actionable, go-to advice. So basically, what she starts off by saying is that very few people in their 60s don't have joint pain. We've been walking around the planet a few times, and our little knees and joints are, they've had a lot of exercise. And so there's over 100 types apparently of arthritis and joint issues. So it's very hard to pin down, what's best for each one. But she does outline the two primary types of arthritis. First of all, there's osteoarthritis, OA, which is the most common. This is just caused by wear and tear. And this is where the fluid between the joints starts to disappear, and the bones, it sort of flakes away, and the bones rub against each other, and it's really very painful. And that's osteoarthritis. Many of you probably are sitting there nodding your heads going, yes, I understand. The other is rheumatoid arthritis, RA, and this is another form. It's like an autoimmune condition, though, and this is where immune cells start to attack the fluid or the membrane that lines the joints. So this is more of an anti-immune as opposed to wear and tear. So that's the two types of arthritis that we deal with. Now, Dr. Brewer also talks about what we can do for both of these things, and she has some pretty interesting ideas. Of course, watching your weight is in her opinion, one of the most important. That any weight-bearing issue is going to affect your joints, and there's a calculation here that if you carry 10 pounds of excess weight on your body, that brings 30 pounds of weight to the knees. So every pound of weight that you have is going to impact your joints more severely. So even losing 10 pounds is going to help a lot. And of course, tummy fat, belly fat, also excretes some hormones that cause inflammation in the joints. So that's something else to bear in mind. So losing a bit of weight is important. Another thing is to follow a joint-friendly diet. And what is a joint-friendly diet? Well, it's actually a diet that includes the things you would expect, fruits and vegetables and seeds, whole grains, and also fatty fish. So salmon, pilchards, sardines, these are really good for you if you want to strengthen and keep your joints healthy. So mackerel is another thing. So I think these fish. They're just fatty. They're called fatty fish. So try those. I love salmon, by the way. It's one of my favorite things to eat, and I hopefully that's helping my joints. But according to Dr. Brewer, it does. The next thing is to exercise regularly. And you're probably thinking, yes, exercise exercise is good for everything, it seems. Well, it's true. It is. Everything that strengthens your heart and your brain and your body also helps your joints. So it's important to get some exercise. Now, if walking is hard for you, there's some other things you can do. Hydrotherapy, which is where you exercise in a warm pool. That can be very helpful for joint health. And also, Dr. Brewer talks about Tai Chi, which is another very slow-moving but very effective form of exercise that can help pain and stiffness in your joints. So that's something else to think about. Now, you can also use pain relieving creams and ointments. And Dr. Brewer thinks that these are okay, that they actually are as good as taking oral medicine. But you obviously have to try different things out for yourself and see what works. Don't believe all the claims, just test it out yourself. Supplements can also be useful, and there's some information about the things you might want to try in the article. But again, the two main ones that people have been using historically are chondroitin and I forget the other one, glucosamine. These are ones that have had a varying amount of, what's the word, recognition as being effective, but they can be, if your situation is in the right zone, these can be very helpful supplements to take. So read the article that I'm going to link to so that you can get more detailed information, because there's a lot to review. The final thing that she talks about is something that I'm a huge fan of, and that is turmeric. Now, turmeric is one of these spices. It's part of the ginger family. It's really, honestly, supposed to cure anything. It really is one of these wonder drugs. It does, it's claimed to do amazing things, and science and surveys, research have shown it to be very effective. And Dr. Brewer's advice is to try using turmeric in a drink and seeing what it does. It really, in her opinion, helps with joint issues. So just take, powdered or you can buy real turmeric root, but just put turmeric powder, maybe a little bit of ginger, but turmeric, some black pepper, just grate a little bit of black pepper to activate the turmeric, maybe a little bit of honey, and just drink a nice hot drink. It tastes good, and it's good for you, according to the research and Dr. Brewer. So that's arthritis. I hope that's helped you. I do know that a lot of women in our community do deal with arthritis, so I hope this has been useful. And check out Dr. Brewer's article. It's very interesting and useful. Now, I want to close with something, and it really goes back to the conversation yesterday that I had with a few women online about getting out in the world, being fearful, or just being lonely, being socially isolated. And it's about loneliness. Now, there's been so many research projects on loneliness talking about how it affects your health, how it affects your well-being, and it's true. There seems to be a lot of support for the fact that if you're not socially engaged, you are likely to get sick, and there's more risk of dying early. It's a fact of research. But what one group called this Brigham Young University did, they took 70 different research projects. They put them all together and took a look at the results. Because one research project on its own, you can't really believe. But they took 70, and their result is exactly what you would expect. Loneliness is not good for your health. It kills. It's really serious. You've got to engage socially, of course, do all the other good things to stay healthy, but being social is important. We did a survey on 60andMe, and 75% of our women said they feel lonely at times. Now, this is different than being alone. Lots of our women love being alone, and that's okay too. But it's really hard to make friends as you get older. And so loneliness is more of a problem for older women. The context of your relationships have changed. You don't have your kids at home. Maybe you've got divorced or you've lost your partner. So loneliness is a real issue, but you can do things about it. And that's the other side of the story of loneliness, which I think is positive. And it's hard to think of a positive outcome to loneliness, but if you can get a grip of it and recognize it and then start doing things, you can empower your life. You really can use loneliness as a catalyst. as a catalyst to get out there and change the way you're living your life and to make friends. And we can do things. You can either look at it through one lens or the other lens, which says, yeah, I'm lonely, so what am I going to do? I'm going to get out. I'm going to take a class. I'm going to go to an exercise class. I'm going to study something that I've always wanted to learn about. Or perhaps I'm going to follow a hobby, join a knitting class, or just get out and do things that you love, and you'll find other people waiting there for you. So that's the thing about loneliness. If you're feeling a bit lonely today, just try to get out in the world and do something for yourself. I think it's really important. And I'm going to close now on that note. And I would love to, first of all, again, thank you for being here with all my heart. I'm really so happy to have you join this Mornings with 60andMe every day. I'd love you to tell a friend. Go up, just point them to 60andme.com/mornings and just let them know that you enjoy the show. You find the news updates are helpful, that the stories are maybe inspiring, and just share the good news. And, the more the merrier. Just spread the word, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you. So as we close today, I would like to ask you a question, and that is, what do you do when you're feeling a little bit lonely? I'd really like to get your comments and your suggestions. Maybe you can help someone who's feeling a bit down today, a bit lonely and isolated. Perhaps your ideas can give them some suggestions. What do you do when you're feeling a little bit lonely? Look forward to your comments and I look forward to joining the conversation. I hope you all have a fantastic day, great Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow. Mornings with 60andMe. Take good care, everyone. Bye for now.